Okay, we are live and it is Tuesday Talks. I'm your host, John Robinson. Good to see you all. It's me. Yes, we're live. Yes, this is real life happening right now. And it's real estate conversations happening every Tuesday, or at least most every Tuesday. The only times that I'm not on live on Tuesday afternoons, in case you guys are wondering, is if I'm really sick. You can actually tell I got a little bit of a congestion going on right now. Not sick enough to stay off though, but if I'm really sick, then I'm not going to get on here and cough and spit all over you guys. But the other thing that sometimes restricts me from jumping on live is if I'm traveling. So every once in a while, I'm traveling on a Tuesday mid-flight or in an airplane somewhere, and it just doesn't work out good. But today, I am live with you all. I'm actually super excited about what we're going to talk about today. I've got several different things that I'm going to be talking about today. And one of those things is, yes, I will be in Portland this week. Today is Tuesday. I'm going to see you all in Portland on Thursday night. And so I'll be making an announcement about that. If you guys have already RSVP'd, then you're going to get a text message from me here in a little bit. Probably will be sometime today. But in case you have not RSVP'd, I want to just tell you, go to www.pdxreigroup.com/meetup. I'm going to say it one more time and say it nice and slow. PDX Group, GROUP.com/meetup. And you will see that there is an email that you'll get. And if you haven't got the email, if you already RSVP and you didn't get the email, I'm going to just tell you right now, you did get the email, but it probably went to your spam folder, which is why I'm going to be sending you a text. So hopefully you got your phone number in there when you RSVP'd. So I'll be sending you guys that. But in case you're new to the show or you're not really sure, go to PDX. I'm going to just put it in the chat here so you guys have it. reigroup.com/meetup. And you will get all the information about the upcoming meetup. It's there in the chat. And those of you guys that are coming, you know for sure that you're going to be there, just jump on in the comments and say hi. Let us know that you're going to be there. I think I see that. Let me just check the comments real quick. We got, okay, so Andy says you can hear and see us. Perfect. Andy, good to see you. Monica, yes, to answer your question, I will be in Portland this week. I'm super excited about what I have to bring to you guys for the PDX REI Group meetup. It's going to be a really good, and it's going to be something that I think is going to be valuable for everybody, because I'm going to be doing a little bit of talking, and then my good friend Shona Lepis is also going to be there. Shona Lepis is an awesome local real estate investor in the Portland market. Obviously, she specializes, if you guys know Shona, she specializes in what kind of real estate? She specializes in buy and hold real estate. She's not a flipper per se. She's not a wholesaler. She specializes in buy and hold, but she has a particular niche in buy and hold market that is called, sometimes it's called different things, but generally spoken to as midterm. It's the midterm rental model. So Shona is going to be speaking at the PDX REI Group meetup this coming Thursday night. I want you guys to come out and be a part of that, because I think it's a huge model that is very important. It's actually something that a lot of people don't really think about. They think of, either, generally speaking, it's either long-term rental, the traditional 12-month contract, one renter for the next 12 months, or it's more like the short term, right? Kind of the hospitality model. And so Shona is going to be giving us that little sweet spot right in the middle. She's going to be talking about her business, how she's been scaling, and some of the different things that she's doing right now in the Portland market, and how her model actually works very well in markets that are not typically known as landlord-friendly markets. So if you guys are buy and hold investors, which ultimately, hopefully all of us are buying properties, holding them, getting that passive income, and all those benefits that come from ownership of real estate, not just transactional deals, but ownership. And in ownership, in that model, you have to think about, there's a lot of things that comes along with owning real estate, especially in a market that may not traditionally be favorable or friendly toward landlords. We know that some markets tend to be a little bit more friendly toward, meaning that they stack a lot of laws, favor the tenant as opposed to the owner. And so Shona's got a really cool little model that she's been doing for the years. She's developed it. She's got a great course that she teaches on it, and she's going to be there with us. And then I am going to be giving you guys a little snapshot of something that I put together recently for the meetup here in Boise. And I did this earlier this month now. My months are already starting to run together. Is anybody else having that problem where you're just like, I don't even know what month it is? I just got back from California last night and turned around and leave to Portland on Thursday morning. I'm going to be flying into Portland Thursday morning. I've already got, I think, 3 properties to go look at Thursday. So it's going to be a crazy day. It's going to be busy, but I'm going to be talking to you guys on Thursday night about some things that I put together for the meetup group here. I think it went really, really well. Shona's going to have plenty of time. We're going to have a good time networking, hanging out. I want you to just think about this, the value of human-to-human interaction, right? In a day and age where everybody and everything is going crazy over AI, and we get it, right? We live in a day and age where that's just the way it works. It's the way it's going. It's almost like trying to like be like, no AI. If you're trying to be that, it's almost like, think about the guy that's in business like in the 1990s and coming into the 2000s, and he's just insisting that the yellow pages model works, right? Let's just stick with yellow pages. I can do my advertising. I can take out a full page. I can do a little section. Why do we need to have a website? That's how I liken today's AI holdouts, right? We're living in a day and age where AI is happening. And if you're not adjusting your business to accommodate AI, then you're probably going to get left behind, honestly. Think about the guy who's only advertising in yellow pages. How would he be doing today? He wouldn't have a business, okay? But the fact of the matter is that AI is not everything. And when I say that, I mean this. I think personally that more and more and more as we live in this day and age of AI, I think we're going to see that human-to-human interaction, like real connection with real people in your local market. I think that's going to become a valuable commodity, an asset that is something that cannot just be traded, right? It's not something that you can replicate. How could you possibly duplicate? I don't care if they have like holographic images that appear in the room and it looks just like the person, and maybe it actually is. They're around the world, and they're, instead of showing up on your phone, they're actually showing up in a holographic representation in the room. That's probably coming if it's not already available. But I don't care if that's what they do. You cannot exchange anything for real human-to-human interaction, right? The eye contact, the voice tone inflections, right? Just the whole vibe that a person brings to a room. Everybody brings their own unique, personality, their own unique wisdom and excitement, and just a lot. It's really, really good. So when we talk about human-to-human interaction, what better way to experience that than with an in-person real estate meetup? And so, guys, do not sleep on this. Do not snooze on this. Be at these meetups. Come be a part of it. pdxreigroup.com/meetup. It's right there in the notes. But yeah, thanks, Monica. She put it in there. pdxreigroup.com/meetup. If you guys want to go to there and get registered or RSVP, then you're going to be getting a message that says all the details about where we're going to be and all that stuff. So, all right, let's see here. Check out the notes again. Monica says, praying I will get better. I'm finding a cold. It's trying to get me. Yeah, I think it's going around. Honestly, today, this morning, I just got in last night. I'll tell you a little bit about that, but we had to cancel one of my normal one-on-ones that I do, coaching one-on-ones that I do on Tuesday mornings. I had to cancel one of them because they're coming down with it. And yeah, it seems like it's going around again. I don't know if it's the spring version or what, but let me tell you a little bit about, by the way, before I jump into this next part, you guys tell me what you're working on, okay? So drop a comment in if you have something that you want answered, or if you want to ask a question. If you just want to tell us where you're watching from, that's fine. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of information about where I just came back from. So I just got back from Southern LA. So I was in the Anaheim. I guess it would have been Anaheim and what is it? Oh goodness, I can't remember. It's the other. I think it's something somewhere just below Anaheim. It all runs together. I was all over LA, North LA, on the up and down some of the different beaches, a lot of different places for the last week. And you guys, if you're a regular with me, you know that I've been super busy. I've been working on putting together something that is not quite ready to put out there, but it's this close. In fact, I just talked to my editor last night as I was flying back into Boise. Said, "Hey, where are we at on stuff?" He said, "I think we're going to be ready for releasing this in March." That was the plan. That was the hope. It might be early April, but we're really pushing hard to get this thing ready to launch this month. But I've been like almost like some of you have been like, "Hey, John, where are you? I can't get a hold of you." You know this. I've already told you this, but like, I'm sorry if you're one of those people that just hasn't heard back from me. Believe me when I say this. It's not that I don't think you're important. It's not that I'm trying to ignore you. I'm just been super hyper focused on some work stuff that I'm doing right now that I think has potential to be very, very valuable for a lot of us, particularly because of what I was just saying, how it connects you to real people in your real market. Okay, I'll be talking about this a little bit at the PDX REI group meetup, but in connection with how we generate leads for our business. As obviously, if you're on this today, you're probably in the real estate space. If you're not, then maybe you're thinking about it. If you just stumbled on this accidentally, well, then we're glad you're here. Happy to help however we can. But this is about real estate conversation, right? So, in real estate, we talk about the best leads in the market are those highly motivated leads, right? We've talked about this on this show in the past. They have those 4 pillars of motivation, right? What's their timeline? What's their price point that they're at? What's the property condition? What's their true motivation? What is the real reason why they're needing to sell? And so we talk about those 4 pillars because those things are important to determine whether or not you're dealing with a motivated seller when it comes time to have these conversations with sellers. We want to help the people that we know we can help. And so that's a very, very select group of people. And finding those people, I'm actually seeing more conversations about this from other leaders in the industry, where I'm seeing that more and more people are recognizing it's harder than ever before to get connected to those highly motivated seller leads. And so when we talk about motivated seller leads, I've been working on something for the last 5 years, a very specific niche, and it's worked very, very well for me. Like so well that I haven't really done any of the other forms of marketing for several years now. Let that sink in. I have not done the typical normal forms of marketing for seller leads, highly motivated seller leads, mind you, right? We want to talk to the right type of people. I haven't been doing any of that type of marketing for at least 4 years. I kind of tapered off, kind of winded things down, and I've been focusing on this one particular niche. But here's the catch. It's hyper local and it involves real face-to-face interactions with people, okay? And it's not something you go out and do a bunch of marketing for. You don't do a bunch of ad spend. You don't do a bunch of cold calling or texting or blasting or anything like that. We're not door knocking on people's houses, although I still love doing that. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is this particular niche has been so valuable for me that about a year ago, I took a handful of people from the PDX REI group and then one from here in the local market in Boise. Most of you guys know Tess. And I've been working with a small handful of people on developing out, working out, teaching them, saying, "Hey, I know it worked for me, but could it work for these other folks?" And it has worked for them. Okay, now everybody's at different levels, right? But the fact of the matter is the eyes were opened, right? The aha moment happened, and it's been working. But it is hyper local. You can't do this remotely. You can't do it in another market. So it's hyper local, and it's also you have to be the right kind of person. And what I mean by that, I do not mean you have to be super skilled in real estate. I do not mean that you have to have an IQ level of whatever. What I mean by that is I mean that you don't even have to have like a lot of money. In fact, you can do this without any money at all. In fact, it's one of the better sources for getting motivated seller leads because you don't have to do a bunch of ad spend and you don't have to go waste a bunch of your time knocking on doors, hoping and praying that someone responds. And driving for dollars, all that normal stuff. It is this what I mean when I say you have to be the right kind of person. You have to be an honest and ethical person, period. Because this particular niche will sniff you out if you have even just a little bit of crookedness in you, like in the sense like you're trying to scam people, you're not really trying to serve people, because there's two different peoples in real estate. You guys know that. There's the scammers and there's the servers, right? And so if you have some of that scam in you, if you're looking for flash and dazzle and Lamborghinis and all that kind of stuff, then this is not going to work for you. But the right kind of people, it works very, very well. And so for the last year, I've been developing this out. And then for the last 6 months in particular, I've been working on putting together kind of what I call a mini course on this. And it's one of those things that it's like a little bit here, a little bit there, but then probably the last 2 months in particular, I've been hyper focused on this and talking about spending money to go and do professional filming in a studio space, working on the scripts, working on the editing. I mean, everything. We're this close to launching it. And one of the things that I wanted to do is I went to California here this last week. First of all, I got to go and visit some really good friends of mine. In fact, I've got their little card here. Some missionary friends of mine that do work, and they're from Australia, and they do work in Thailand and have for almost 20 years. And so they come to the United States every year. And I knew they were going to be in LA they had like in between weekends, they had a few days. So my wife and I went. We kind of tagged it. It wasn't really an anniversary trip, but September was our 25th anniversary, and we were super busy. Didn't have time or money at the time to really go putting a lot of big plans. So we kind of tagged this on to the end of combining it with meeting our friends, spend some time with some friends, spend some time just hanging out, the two of us. But I also spent some time, as you guys know. I mean, if you're like me, you can't go to a new market, a market you're not familiar with, and at least not get a feel for like what's going on with the real estate in this market. Okay, so put a 1 in the comments. Okay, I want to just test this real quick. Put a 1 in the comments if you guys have heard of people leaving California in droves. Drop a 1 in the comment if you've heard of people leaving California just by record numbers, right? So go ahead and throw it out there. Drop a 1 in the comments if you know that people are exiting out of California left and right. Like I think it's like record high numbers of people that are U-Haul is like showing, California is leading the state as people are leaving, right? So drop a 1 if you've heard that, if you know that to be true, okay? Because I want to tell you something here in a minute. It might surprise you, okay? Yeah, Andy says 1, 1, 1. Yeah, people are leaving California. And, a lot of them are coming here to Idaho. And there's a little bit of resentment about that, right? Because the places where Californians are going, they're kind of like, Texas, Idaho, Montana. People are like, hey, stop, wait, don't come here. But, it's just the way it works. It's just, it's just be thankful we live in America, and it's a free country, semi-free country where you can actually pick where you want to live. And you're not assigned a place to live. Okay. So I knew that was the case, and I've actually seen the statistics. I've seen the California plates around here, although they don't tend to last very long. People get them switched out very quickly to Idaho. But this was something that surprised me, okay? I was surprised, honestly surprised, by how hot the real estate market is in Southern California right now. I am talking like it is incredibly hot, okay? And meaning this, with the right kind of properties, there's still a ton of buyers. I'll give you guys an example of a property that I looked at. I was driving over by UCLA, so I was down kind of in that downtown on the way to Newport Beach with our friends. We're going to go grab lunch somewhere, and I saw as I was driving, as some of you guys can relate to this. I'm driving down the road, and I see as we pass, I see a house that looks like it's distressed. Okay. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but like I have like this little radar that goes off, right? Distressed property, distressed, right? And again, I've kind of said this in the past. I don't necessarily go around doing driving for dollars anymore as an activity of lead resourcing, but I can't help but notice the fact that there are sometimes properties around that you see like, oh, okay, well, this property definitely needs some help. So I'm driving down the street over by UCLA, and I see this property out of the corner of my eye. I flip a U-turn and I go back. I was like, I got to see that property. And as I'm pulling in, I see there's actually a real estate sign. So it's listed for sale. And so I'm kind of looking through. You can tell it's clearly vacant. There's broken windows. There's some boarded up stuff. So I'm looking, And the house is like built probably in the 1920s, 30s. And so I'm kind of thinking like myself, okay, I wonder what this thing is listed for. I look it up. I look up the sign. It's listed for $3 million. Okay. Now this is right downtown. I mean, walking distance to UCLA, okay, campus. So again, location, location, location. But $3 million for this property that needs everything. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if someone bought it just to demo it and build other, structures on top of it. But I'm looking at it from the point of view of a rehabber, of a flipper, and I'm like, okay, this thing could actually be fixed up really, really cool. It's already got in the back. It's got a pool, like a big kind of like almost classic skateboarder bowl type of pools, in-ground pool. Of course, it's empty, but the pool is there, the bowl is there. It's got what do we say? It's got like an ADU type of a thing. So they've got an old garage that was converted years ago to like a little apartment. I'm walking down the side of the house. The door is wide open, and I'm looking at like several doors are open. So I'm actually like walking through this property and just getting. I got some film, some footage. I might post it later. And as I'm walking through all this, I'm thinking to myself, man, like this would be a really cool house to renovate and flip, like a really cool house. I'm getting excited about it. And, my flipper instincts are coming out. I'm like, this is a really cool house. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make an offer on this thing. It's like, why not? Right. By the way, hold on a minute. I'm hearing some really bad background noise. I don't know. Can you guys hear that? Is the sound good on your end? Let me know if the sound is good on your end, because I'm getting some really weird static on the coming back on my end. Yeah, weird. I don't normally get that. So if it's good on audio, give me a thumbs up or give me a heart or something. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay, because I'm getting some static on my end that I haven't heard typically before. Okay, Monica says you can hear me fine. Perfect. Thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. Okay. So here's the thing. As I'm coming out of the house, this guy walks up the driveway and he's like, hey, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, I'm just, looking at the house. And he's like, well, the house belongs to my dad. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I said, are you the agent? He goes, no, my brother's the agent. And he goes, and he starts telling me the story. We grew up in this house. I lived just a couple houses down. We didn't really want to sell it, but we don't really, we're not flippers. We're not going to renovate it. My brother really wants to, hopefully somebody buys it that wants to restore it and not just tear it down. So I'm like, well, I might be that guy. So I start talking. We get the brother on the phone, and I get him on the phone, and I actually send him a text message, and then we end up talking on the phone. And next thing you know, we're actually in the process of like talking about putting together an offer. I'm like, well, what would you want to do? He goes, well, here's the thing. It's only been listed for 7 days. Okay. He goes, I listed a week ago. He goes, we decided to take our highest and best offer as of noon today. And by this time I'm talking to him, it's like 11:30. He's like, but I don't have to take everything back to the trustee until this evening. So he said, if you want to shoot over a text, go ahead and let me know. So he's asking $3 million. I ask him some questions about some of the surrounding properties. I do a little quick research. The ARV on this, the after repair value on this property is $5+ million. Okay. So he's asking for 3. The ARV is 5+ easily. $5 million home down by UCLA. And I'm looking at it from a contractor's point of view going, okay. Okay. But, oh yeah. Okay. So a couple of you guys also said this. Okay, good. Thank you. So I'm looking at this house. I'm like, they're asking 3, ARV is 5. The renovation costs, again, I'm figuring California is going to be higher, maybe less, I don't know, but I'm figuring California is going to be higher just because of all the different taxes and fees. Everything seems to cost more. By the way, gas almost $7 a gallon there right now. And so I think, it's probably going to be anywhere from $700,000 to $800,000 to fully renovate this house the way it needs to get it to that $5+ million ARV. So what I think, yeah, Sherry says recent comps. Yes, I was looking at comps from other similar houses, right? Not brand new houses, but dated homes that have been renovated. And I mean, I'm not even kidding you. Stuff in the 4.5, 5 million, 5.5, and I was just like, it was kind of blowing my mind. So I'm looking at going, well, $3 million, that's maybe a little bit high, but I should probably offer something close. So here's the thing. I send the guy a text message. I do my numbers. I send the guy a text message about an hour after I finish lunch. And I said, hey, I know you probably can't take this, it's late in the game. Thanks for letting me get this in there. But I said, I can do 2.3 million. Okay. Now I figured, remember on the renovation side, I figured about 800,000. So if I'm at 2.3 million to purchase plus renovation costs, right? So let's do some quick math on this because I want to actually get real numbers in here for you guys. So you know what I was thinking. So we're at $2,300,000 on the purchase. Okay. And then I figured on the high end, probably 850,000 for renovation. Okay. So we're at 3.15. And then I figured with closing costs and holding costs and all that stuff, financing costs, probably going to be another $300,000 just in fees alone. Okay. So in fact, I figured it actually $350,000 just in financing costs. And then I figured on the back end to sell the property, another, if we're selling it at 5%, if we listed it with a local agent, obviously we got 3% to the agent, 3% to the buyer. So we're factoring in another fairly significant cost. Okay. So let's just say 5 million times 6%. There's another 300,000. So we're now in this thing for $3,350,000 plus another 300,000. So I figured on this thing all in, we're going to be hovering right around $4 million all in total cost. Okay, $4 million, including all the financing fees, everything, renovation costs. Yeah, Peggy's got 3.8 million. I figured I rounded up to 4 million. But listen, $4 million to make $1 million, like I'm in on that, right? What do you think? You guys in on that? Would you commit, would you sign on the dotted line for $4 million where you're going to be committed to $4 million if it means that there's a pretty good chance, again, we're not just hoping, but we're looking at comps, we're looking at the market. There's a pretty good chance that you're going to sell it for 5 million. In fact, maybe 5.2, 5.3, but 5 million kind of is your bottom line. If you're talking about making $1 million from one transaction by spending $4 million, then think about this, guys. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense if you were a flipper, if you were an investor, to be doing deals in California? That's might be the surprise, right? Maybe you didn't know I was going to go there with this. But I actually discovered by being down there, being boots on the ground in real life, looking at the California market, that there's certain pockets in California that would absolutely still make a lot of sense for investors. And here's the other thing that I figured out while I was down there. Now I've been to some big cities in the world. Okay, so I've been to Bangkok, I've been to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City. I've been to some places where you walk out of the airport and you are now just in one of 10 million people, 12 million people, right? I've been to those cities and it feels like you're condensed and everything's tight. And the thing is LA is no different. Boy, if you've spent any time in LA, you've been driving, the traffic, the highways, the freeways, the people, there's people everywhere. But think about what that means, okay? If you've got 10 million people, which the LA does, I think the greater LA area has, with all the different surrounding communities, is closer to 20 million people, okay? Now, again, that's a pretty big stretch. It's a big geographic portion of property. But there's certain markets that you can afford to take a $4 million gamble to make $1 million because there's so many people. There's so many people in those areas that are still looking for deals. Like there's a lot of people that are leaving, right? And frankly, as we got on the airplane and flew back to little Boise, Idaho last night and landed, and our son picked us up at the airport. The airport is just easy to get in and out of. I mean, I'm driving home, I'm looking at the sunset, and I'm like, that sunset in LA doesn't compare anywhere close to this, sunset. The point is, all these people are leaving California. But okay, and here Monica has this here. She says, but if that many people are leaving California, how long does these $5 million, if $1 million stay homes in the market for a period of time, what about $5 million? Hey, listen, Monica, that's all a factor. And I'm not saying just go out and buy it, spend $4 million on a property. But what I'm saying is there are so many people There's so much of a demand for housing still in those markets that it's actually still not a bad place to invest, is what I came away with. Okay. Now, would I want to live there? Oh, heck no. I would never want to live there. But would I be more than willing to fly in and out of LA several times a year to do one or two transactions that are going to net me? I mean, think about it. They're going to net me anywhere from, 750,000 to $1.5 million every time I do one flip. Absolutely. What, guys, think about it. We're living in a day and age where getting in and out of places because of air travel, getting in and out of places, doing deals because of being able to source these deals because of the internet, being able to do all that stuff. Boy, we're living in a day and age where you can absolutely do business anywhere in the world. Okay. And so Monica says, but would you personally do the renovation? Monica, of course I would not personally do the renovation. I'm not Monica. I'm not Monica. I'm not going to waste my time doing the renovation myself, even though I love doing construction, even though I absolutely love the fact that I can just go tear into something. It's not the highest and best use of my time, Monica. That's why I don't do it. That's what I've been trying to tell you for all this time. I'm not going to personally do the renovation. I'm not Monica. Okay. I learned a long time ago, I have to take my tool bags off so that I can be better, a better version of myself. Okay. And the best version of myself is not the guy that walks around with his leather tool bags and a hammer that I can use very quickly. I like that steel Estwing hammer with a solid steel handle. And I like, a big Fat Max tape measure, the 35 footer. I've lived that life. I've been that guy. If I have to, I can jump into that role any given time. In fact, I love doing that, especially when I get to go do missions trips or go work on projects in other countries. But here in America, that is a terrible use of my time. The most amount of money I can make doing that role is somewhere around $65 to $80 an hour. That's if I'm getting on a big project like Intel or Micron or something like that. That's not a good way for me to spend my time. Okay, so I would definitely not do the renovation myself. I would source the contractors myself, and I would personally, because I know this business and I know construction very well, I would be very, very selective on who I get. But I would manage the project is what I would do. And I might even, find somebody there locally to manage it on a day-to-day basis, and then I just manage the manager. So um, let's see here. Some of the other comments. Monica says, "Can you get that money?" Well, absolutely. You can get money for any deal as long as it's a deal. Simple, right? If you have a real deal, like if you have a deal where people that have money recognize that's a deal, and you come to them and say, "Hey, I've got this deal. Pretty sure it's a good deal. Do you want to finance this deal?" Yes, absolutely. You can get that kind of money all day long. Yeah, Sherry, there we go. Sherry says, yes, I can provide potential lenders for that scenario. Absolutely correct. Let's see. Andy says, perhaps pay X amount down payment. That way you're not paying percentage on $3 million hard money. Yeah, but the thing is with doing that, Andy, is now you're having to tie up your own cash. I don't mind paying a higher interest rate if I don't have to spend any of my own money. That's the name of the game in this business is OPM, right? Other people's money. Let the people that have the money finance the deal. They get paid well, and you make money. Now, could you save a little bit? Could you save a percentage, on the hard money? Yes, of course you could, but is it worth it? Is it worth tying up your own cash? I don't know. Some people it is, some people it's not. It's not for me. Peggy says Monica's house though she's working on her own house. It's a good use of her time. Yeah, I'm just giving her a hard time. She knows I love her, and Monica knows that I'm not saying that she shouldn't be doing that. I just know that. Well, I'm not going to get into Monica's business on here on live stream. So, Monica, if that's what she wants to do, it's America. It's a semi-free country. You can do whatever you want, as long as you pay your taxes. Let's see here. So anyway, guys, did you know that? Did you know that South LA is still actually a really good market for flippers? Who knew? I didn't know. Oh, I didn't tell you the rest of the story. Okay, so I made the offer, 2.3 million, right? I figured all my costs. I'm in it all in. I'm in it for 4 million. Okay. I thought well, that'd be. I mean, I'm willing to sign up for a $4 million transaction if it means $1 million profit on one deal. Okay. get that deal done, 6 months max. And most flips should take anywhere from, again, you're doing a cracker box flip, you can have those things done in 30 to 45 days back on market, maybe even less. This would have been an extensive flip. So I figured 6 months from the time you purchase to the time it goes back on market, give it another couple of months to sell. But in that area, location, it's a prime area. I think it would get snatched up very quickly if it was market ready. Now, I made the offer, 2.3 million. I'm figuring about 800,000 all in on the renovation. I'm figuring another 350,000 in financing, holding costs, and another 300,000 to realtors. All in, total 4 million. It sells for 5. You make $1 million. This is not a bad deal, right? I would gladly spend the next 6 months of my life commuting back and forth to LA, managing a team of contractors, managing a project manager, and just managing, a project if it meant, the potential of making $1 million when it was all said and done. Like, well, how does that not work? Okay. Now, some of you are like, how could you possibly do that? But you don't live there. You're thinking way too small. Like, you can do this. Anybody can do this. It's America. But the realtor texts me back. Okay, I've offered him via text. I said, hey, if you like the sound of this, 2.3 works for you guys. I can write it up and do an official offer, show proof of funds, all that stuff very quickly. The realtor texts back. He says, hey, I really appreciate it. Thanks for getting back to me. A lot of people don't when they say they will. He says, but he goes, the truth of the matter is, he goes, we already had 6 offers come in above asking price. 6, remember, I told them they are listed at $3 million. 6 above asking price offers came in, and he goes, I think we're going to close on this in a week or two. So I did not get that deal. And what it showed me, though, is there's still a lot of demand in California, and there is a massive, massive buyer's pool, much, much different than somewhere like Boise, where here I am locally. Like, how many actual buyers are there? Now, I don't think that there's, ever going to be a shortage of qualified buyers in the right kind of markets. Okay. So even though the numbers, don't align, it's not like totally an equal ratio. There's still enough buyers here in this market, and there's still a shortage of inventory to where if you build a good product, you renovate a good product, put it on the market, it's going to sell. But when you talk about a greater population, greater area that has a population base of 20 million people, there is a massive amount of not only buyers, but there's also a massive amount of money in that area that has to go somewhere. Okay. So yes, Monica, 6 offers above asking price, and the asking price was 3 million. It was on market for 7 days. And at the end of 7 days, they had 6 above asking price offers. So what that showed me as an investor is this: if I find the right kind of property in the right area of California, it's still a good investment, has the potential to be a good investment. Does that make sense to you guys? Do I want to live there? Absolutely not. I don't even know if I really want to visit there. Like, it was kind of cool. I mean, again, don't get me wrong, we had a good time. My wife and I enjoy spending time together wherever we're at. Got a really good visit with some missionary friends of ours. Peggy said, I think I saw Peggy say earlier about something about Peggy says she loved our interview. So I did an interview with one of my missionary friends there, Australian guy. It's on one of my other channels, Meet Pastor John. But the point is, it was actually a really good time. And yes, Peggy, it sounds amazing. And I think for the right type of deal, the right kind of property, it could actually be a very, very good market to be investing in as a flipper. Do I want to own property and hold property in California? Oh, no way. I don't even want to own and hold property in Portland. You guys know me, know that I'm in Portland every month. We do our meetups. I still have a lot. In fact, I've got 3 deals to look at when I fly in on Thursday. But I don't want to own anything there. Why? Because it's not a friendly market to owners. It's not a friendly market to investors, right? Yes, exactly. Peggy says, no, it's not. So the point is, there's certain markets I don't want to own property in. Now, it's in Idaho. Man, if it's anywhere in the Treasure Valley, I'm interested in owning it. I'm interested in buying it and holding it. Certain markets in Tennessee, absolutely. Certain markets in like Iowa, in different places, like, I think it's a good place to own property. Okay. But as far as doing flips, I'm absolutely interested in doing flips in for the right types of properties in the right kind of market in California, which I wouldn't have really thought about that before, but being there actually showed me that. So, let's see here. Let's see. Monica says, ASAP, anyone interested in a single family house on 0.3, about a third of an acre, Hot Springs, Arkansas, red state tourist town, not on the market yet, who's being rented at 1550, 3-bed, 2-bath, huge downstairs, can be converted into another rental area, 205,000. I've been speaking to the owner. Apartment wants out, doesn't want to create financing. But okay, Monica, that sounds like an interesting lead. If anybody's interested in talking to Monica about that, message her. I'm kind of curious, Monica, why you're not buying that. I think you own property in Arkansas. Why it says, what about Indiana? Yep, there's certain markets in Indiana that are in Indiana. That's where I was born, by the way. I'm a Hoosier at heart. Munster, Indiana is where I was born, but certain markets in Indiana, Wayne, are very, very good. Anything around Indianapolis is doing really well. Fort Wayne, Indiana is also a good market. And so the fact of the matter is, excuse me, there are markets that are really good for owning property, holding property. And you just have to look and say, why is this state different than this state? Why is this county better than this county? Why is this city better than this city? Those are the things you have to do your own investigating on. But Wayne, Wyatt, I think Indiana is a good state. Again, not a place I'd want to live, but very, very good market. Yeah, she said, Sherry says, India is an excellent market right now. I've seen that too. I've been watching that. I'm very curious about what's really driving all that. I don't know enough about it to know what's doing it, but I do know I see that a lot. A lot of people are saying that. Andy says, I think this is in relation to my offer getting turned down. It says it means you don't know their market as much as they do. That's why they offer more. They know the potential. Good lesson, understand the market. Yeah, absolutely. My thought is, if I offer 2.3 million, there's no way I can go wrong. Okay, think about that. ARV being 5 million, and even if I jack my renovation cost up to 1 million, and even if I have to end up paying another 500,000 in additional financing costs because it just goes longer than I thought and bigger than I thought. Even if I was $4.5 million into it, if I sell at 5 million, I still have $500,000 payday profit on a $2.3 million purchase. So at 2.3 million, I'm definitely okay with that offer. But I figured it probably wasn't going to get accepted, to be honest, because again, it was on market. Now, I told you guys a few minutes ago about this particular lead source that I've been working on, and how it's working with the best motivated sellers in any local market. But I said it's hyper local, right? Remember I said that it's a very hyper local approach, very, very unique niche. And so while I was in LA, I also did some reconnaissance. That's the word I was looking for. I did some reconnaissance on finding how to connect with these types of leads in the LA market. And I actually have a pretty good idea about how I'm going to actually go into that market and be able to pull these types of leads from local resources without even being there. Okay. And this is something that I'm going to explore, but I'm not be there permanently, but I'm going to have to be there at least semi-regularly. So I might be going in and out of LA a lot here in the next part of this year. We'll see. I'm still developing a plan around that, seeing if it's worth the time and effort and energy. But it is absolutely true that the best leads, in my opinion, are completely off market. Nobody else knows about them, and they come to you. They don't go out there to the entire world. There's not a bunch of other wholesalers competing and flippers. They come directly to you from the people that are closest to the deals. Now, that's, in my opinion, that's the best lead in the market. Okay. So, well, that sounds like it'd be really nice. Oh, believe me, it is really nice. That's how I've been getting my leads and my deals for the last 5 years, and they are the best leads. Okay. Peggy says, love local. Let's see. Monica, it looks like Andy is saying Henry Washington is in Arkansas. I've got other connections there as well. Okay. I'm not sure who Henry Washington is, but Andy knows him. Let's see who else here. I'm just typing this in. Okay. Let's see here. Where'd my screen? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so you guys connect. Monica says this: I'm willing to wholesale, but I decided I really want to save my capital to buy an RV park. Okay. Well, Monica, semi-free country. Saving your capital to buy an RV park is probably not the best way to buy an RV park, but liquidating everything you've currently got and pooling that with another investor, a partner that knows how to source those deals and get those deals under contract, that would probably be a good tool for you to a good way for you to approach it. I don't know that saving, it's kind of like, the Dave Ramsey approach is really, really good for your personal finances. I'm not sure it's the best approach for investing in business. And I actually think, even though Dave Ramsey is really solid on the Bible in certain areas, I think that there's a clear evidence in the Bible even for borrowing and for the right kind of purchases and business and things like that. But that's not what this show is about today. It's just something that because most people think that if you're a Christian, you obviously, probably just love everything about Dave Ramsey. And I think Dave Ramsey is an awesome person. I think he's a good Christian man. I just don't think that his approach works super well for everything. Okay, that's just my opinion. And there's pros and cons of borrowing as well. But partnerships, there's a lot in the Bible about that. If I was to say, what do you think about a partnership? Most of you would say, like, it's terrible, don't do it. But then, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. And again, that's not a scripture verse for partnerships, but it just shows the value of working with other people. Ecclesiastes says something about, if a guy is on his own and he falls and he doesn't have a fellow to help him up, well, then he's kind of stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck, right? But a threefold cord is not quickly broken. So there's pros and cons of all these things. There's pros and cons of borrowing to get into what it is you're trying to do. Monica, you're wanting to get RV parks. Look up Peggy. Peggy can do the sourcing for you. Sherry says, great strategy, John. Many want to be RV park owners, benefit from team projects. There's certain price points you get into and certain types of properties that I don't want to say it's impossible to do it on your own, but you could spend a lifetime trying to find that one deal that works to do on your own. In the meanwhile, you could have been doing multiple deals by just being a part of a team or squatting up with someone or having the right kind of partners. So, okay. Andy says Henry Washington is one of the hosts of the Bigger Pockets. I think Henry Washer is that black dude with the beard. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know if that's exactly who it is, but that's the name that comes to my mind. I really like him. It seems like he's got a good approach. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to start winding things down. Let's see here. If you guys are not registered yet for this coming PDX REI group meetup, it's this Thursday night. I'll be in Portland. Got Shona Lepis coming. I'll be there. We're going to hang out, network. I want to just throw this out there real quickly and get a feel. If you're in the Portland market and you would like to kind of see a sneak preview, a sneak peek of what it is that I'm going to be rolling out here very, very shortly. In other words, you kind of want to see what this whole idea, like the best off-market motivated seller leads that don't require a bunch of ad spend, don't require a bunch of your time knocking on doors and driving for dollars and doing cold calling and outreach. If you would like to see what that looks like in person with me, if you kind of want a sneak peek, I'm thinking about doing I don't want to say like a reveal, but I'm thinking about taking a handful of people that are actually super interested in this and maybe doing something like incorporating it into the PDX REI group or doing something kind of like, I don't know, I might do it like Friday morning. I might do a special Zoom. I'm not sure exactly. I just kind of want to see what the curiosity, what the interest would be. So if you guys are interested in something like that, type in sneak peek, okay? Type in sneak peek in the comments, and then I'm just going to kind of get a gauge and see how many people would be interested in that, and I'll know if I want to spend my time doing that because I got a lot to do in Portland later this week. So if you're interested, type in sneak peek, and I'll go back and check the comments later, and we'll see. Tanya, I see you, and I just got your message the other day. Yes, you and I will be getting together here soon. On that. But if you guys are interested in seeing a little bit about this, it's very, very unique. It's something that is very, very niche. Meaning it's not something that everybody's doing. It's definitely something that very few people are doing. But I'll tell you this, people that are doing it, the people that learn this particular approach I believe, are going to plop themselves smack dab in the center, in the middle epicenter of the future of real estate, dealing with off market leads, because I believe this demographic, as it's growing, there's more and more opportunity that's building, and it's going to be absolutely what everybody knows about here in the not too distant future. So if you get in on this early on, you're gonna definitely going to be ahead of the curve. Wouldn't it be nice to be ahead of the curve for a change instead of like trying to catch up, right? So this is something that I'm working on. Something that I feel very passionate about. Something that I think the people that have looked into it have been benefited by. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this, type in sneak peek, and then I'll get in touch with you. Probably going to do something Friday morning, maybe in person, maybe a coffee shop in Portland, maybe just do a Zoom, but it'll probably be for this coming Friday morning. So let me know if you're interested. All right, guys. If I don't see you on Tuesday Talks, I don't see you at the PDX REI Group meetup this coming Thursday night, then hopefully I'll see you next week on Tuesday Talks. Don't forget to share this. Put the word out, let other people know that what we're doing. Hit the like, subscribe, all that stuff. And we will be in touch soon. Sherry, I see you. Peggy, I see you. Tanya, oh, yep, I see you guys. I'm looking forward to sharing this with a handful of people. We're not going to do like a big out blast right now. We're just going to be doing a small handful of people just to kind of get them, get some feedback and say, hey, what do you think about this? So, all right, guys, take care. Appreciate you being here. God bless, and see you next week if we don't see you this Thursday. Take care.